So, hi everyone. Today we are going to start with something called International Lending Customer. So, this is a made up dummy project I've created for all of you. I've got this data from open source, which was available on Google itself. And what you can see right in front of your screen is a typical data model, or you could say a blueprint of how a data model or any project is taken into consideration. So the first part that comes into consideration for any project to be started is the idea and the um, views, different views that business think. If we can get those views, we'll what insight we can get out of that. And after that, the second phase that happens is the discussions that starts with that: do we have that kind of data available? If that data is available, where is it residing? How can we move that data? What kind of data complexities are there? And further so more. Okay, so if you see right in front of you, there is a small section that says db2 teradata sharepoint gcp and flat files. So flat files are nothing but csv files. Gcp stands for Google Cloud Platform. SharePoint is nothing but, if there are any Excel reports that are coming across, SharePoint is a simple shared location where multiple people can move their files, and the other users can use them. So SharePoint is one of the data source, and then there is Teradata and DB2. So we'll be to give you a brief, what we are going to do is, firstly we'll discuss the business and the managerial aspect of how things move, and then I will show you how the raw data looks like. I'll show you how to connect. So what we'll be doing, we'll be using SAS and Power BI in this. With SAS, we'll be doing the data manipulation and the data ETL part of its extraction, transformation, and loading. So ETL stands for extraction, transformation, and loading. So and then I'll show you how you can connect to DB2 Teradata, how those queries are written, how you can get files from SharePoint locations. So in order to get data from GCP, there's something called soaring technique that is used. So how you can, so there are different, in GCP you have a project. Inside a project you do have different tables, and inside those tables you have your data variables. And flat files are nothing but your CSV file, or your XLX file, or any other form of flat files. Okay, so what happens is, like, you have these different uh, data sources. So the primary thing for you to do is to get the information on what is required, what is to be created. So I've shown you the first part. So before going to those data sources, you need to know that what kind of KPIs are required. So this is just example. Okay, there are just 24 KPIs. There will be somewhere close to 134 KPIs that we would be dealing with, but this is just to show you. So this is something called a data dictionary, or a glossary, or a STM document, or something of such kind. But these are the words that you would commonly hear. And what you can see that on in the A1 section, in the A1 column, you have the KPI and the name they have inside the data set, or the table where they are residing. So this is the name. And in column B, you have the data definition. So ID is nothing but customer ID. Default is default status. Loan amount is nothing but the amount of loan taken. Term is like for how long has the customer taken the loan. Employee title. So EMP underscore title is nothing but the job description of the customer, whether he's salaried, whether he's technician, or whatsoever it is. Then employee length. So EMP length is nothing but the employment history, for how long has been the customer employed. Okay, then comes the home ownership. So whether the customer stays on rent, or he is a homeowner, or some that kind of details. Then annual income is yearly income. That payment plan, what kind of payment plan does he have? Does he have a quarterly payment? Does he have a monthly payment? What kind of payment plan he has? And then descriptions. Okay, so description is nothing but whether he's a borrower, or any other kind of data asset, he means any other kind of consumer. Okay, purpose is for what the loan is taken. Title. So let's say the purpose of the loan is home, Then inside the title, you'll have the information whether it is to buy a new home or to renovate the existing loan. So that kind of information you would have. Then you have the zip code. Zip code is nothing but the postal code of that particular area. Then address. Address would be their residing address code. Okay, address code would be nothing but state code. Okay, and then delinquent in 2 years. So delinquents underscore 2 years is nothing but if the customer has ever been delinquent in 2 years or not. It will be a YNN flag. Okay, earliest credit line. So earliest credit line is something, let's say I am a user and I haven't used any credit products, by the time I was 18. So I started using uh, credit products from 2012. So 2012 would be means that particular date, particular month, and particular year would be the earliest credit line. Then as it's a US data, so you have FICO range low, you have FICO range high. This is nothing but the information on customer, that their FICO score, what has been their lowest score, and what has been their highest score. Okay, and then there's something called account open account. Okay, so this is nothing but account open date. So what I'm trying to explain here is that you have different names. Okay, this ID could be in a different data, different location in a different table or different data set, and it might have name as cust underscore ID 2. But if the data definition, that is also the customer ID, is same, so you can use it as a primary key to merge these two tables. So this data definition is very crucial. Plus these data definitions are something that are to be signed off by your business, whomsoever is your business owner or your stakeholder, or if you are a freelancer, if you're dealing with some client. So these definitions are to be aligned. So let's say, if the default status, so default status can be, in this case I've just written default status, but there could be a range. Maybe I have a data set in which the default status is there, and I have a another data set or a CSV report in which also I have the default status for same customer, but the default status is same. So what can be the case? The first case, that could be that the data definition is different. In this case, they are taking into consideration the entire history of the customer. In that CSV file, they might take only a 12-month period. So there might be a range. So these data definitions are to be aligned for our data to be used universally or across different products. Okay, making sense? Now, as I was talking about, let's go through the location part of it, right? So for your understanding, I've just given the same locations. Okay, it's all same. But if you go, so location is something that will tell you whether it resides on DB2, whether it resides on Teradata, whether it resides on SharePoint or GCP or flat files. Okay, when we'll move across, so in this current today's video, we'll talk about the business aspect of it. In the next video, I'll show you how the raw data looks like. I'll show you how you can import using different techniques, and then we'll create a data model out of it. Then in the next segment, we'll do a data validation and trend checks. How we can, once the data is extracted, how we can check the trends and other different data validation part. And at last, we will use that summarized data to create different views using Power BI. Okay, so I hope this is making sense for everyone. So as I told you, this location is where the data resides. So once you have this information, once you have this data glossary, you will have to go and search across these different data sources and different data repositories, that what data you require is in which table. Do you have access? If you do not have the access, how you can gain access? So this is all the prerequisite before you start developing your model. This is all information that is to be documented, that will be written in place, signed off by business. Okay, once you know the locations, you have the access, then you go to the data source. So in this case, there is the data set name is a customer underscore cube underscore us underscore lend underscore 23. Okay, so as it is 23, it's 2023, and it's a YTD data set. If it would have been a monthly data set, it would have been 0123. So the month would have been a suffix, or there, I'm just giving an example. There can be different names for data sets. So mostly they are like a YTD data set or a MTD data set. In our case, we are using a YTD dataset. Okay, and then logic used. So there is nothing mentioned in the logic used because currently we have not developed our model. Once we develop the model, so if we make any changes, let's say this customer ID consists of a alphanumeric, combination, and we just want to use the numeric part of it. So we can simply say that we use compress BL customer ID space inverted commas AK, that will extract the numeric part of it. So these are any kind of data operations we would be doing on this, or if we have any additional KPIs. So once we have, so what happens is once we have data from all these row sources, we'll import them into a single location. We'll start doing the data manipulation. Then we'll see what is available, what new is to be created. Once that created, we get everything into the landing area. So then you will have customer level information, then you will have product level information, and then you will have transaction level information. These are different modules you will have. You'll comprise all those modules together in a optimized way. And then what will happen is the next thing you have to do is that you will save the data at customer level and then at summary level. Okay, why we are saving at customer level? Customer level data would be huge. So let's say for a market which has somewhere close to 1 million customer, if you save customer level data, it should come somewhere close to 2 GB, and that is 1 month of data, customer level data. So okay, so when you're saving 1 month customer data level data, so there are, server space, or if you are on cloud, then also, you have space issues, you have space costs, so that is to be taken into consideration. So while you are discussing your project, you will have to have this information from your stakeholders, that whether you will have customer data for rolling 12 months or 24 months. So that is something that you need to have clarity on. Okay, so you are saving data at two levels. One is customer level, another one is summary level. Once you have customer level data, that is usually consumed by different teams or operations, or other market sources which can manipulate this data, and they can do some analysis of their own for their ad hoc request, or you yourself, if any ad hoc request comes across. So with summary level data you cannot do much, but with customer level data you can drill down to the very last chunk of it. Okay, and then with summary level data, we'll take it as an input for our Power BI dashboard, and we'll create views from it. So I hope this picture would make sense for you. I'll just give you a brief recap what I talked about. So you first thing is to identify your data sources. Once you have identified your data sources, you'll go to the data location. You will start getting information on your data views. Once you have information on your data views, then what is, you will need to get your access sorted. Once access is sorted, you'll start digging deep into your sources, metadata information, table information, how you can move that data. Is it a MTD data set you will be consuming data from, or is it a YTD data set? If it is a YTD data set, will you be doing a full load, or you will be doing an incremental load? So full load is something when each and every data is refreshed. In terms of incremental load is something, let's say I have a customer ID, and in that customer ID there are particular things, there are particular KPIs that are updated, and rest remains the same. So incremental load is written in such a way that only the things that are changed, that are updated, rest data remains the same. So that is how an incremental data works. So once you have identified your sources, you have sorted your access, then you'll start gathering the data. You'll start your ETL process, extraction, transformation, and loading. Once you have extracted the data, you'll transform it in the landing area. You'll create your customer cube, you'll create your product module, and you'll create your transactional module. Once these modules are created, then again you'll comprise data into a single data set, and you'll save it at customer level and summary level. Customer level data will go to different other teams, they will have access. So you might be saving that data in one of the agreed locations, that can be on the SharePoint, that can be on GCP, that can be on a on-prem server. And then your summary level data would also be saved in a agreed location, and then you will be moving, means you will be using that summary level data for creating views for your dashboard. Okay, so this is something we are going to do. This is how your blueprint of a data uh, asset looks like, and this is how your data dictionary would look like. These are different KPIs. I'll show you uh, how what kind of data. So see, this is date, this is Fed funds, federal funds, and I have created the entire glossary. So you have your lending club test. So this is something I've taken. So guys, let me show you what data would we be looking at. So as you saw the data dictionary, you can see that we have customer ID, then at default we have what kind of value, whether the customer has defaulted or not, loan amount, term is nothing but the number of months, employee title. So employee title is very interesting. See, senior system tech. So can anyone guess how would we deal with this? And then we have employment length, then we have home ownership, then we have annual income, then we have this payment plan, purpose, title, zip code, and all this information. So guys, this is something that we will do hands-on in our next video. So what I would request everyone, that whosoever is watching this session, okay, what you will have to do is you will have to comment down, okay, if you're interested to do the hands-on work, and then I can share this data with you people as well. And as I go ahead, I'll upload the next video. What you can do is you'll have the data with you already. You can play it, pause, import your data, work around with your data hands-on, and whatever challenges you are getting, or any error, or any new, anything new that you would think we could do better, you can comment down there, and we can, in our final the third video, in which we will be creating our um, Power BI dashboard. So we all would have that summary and customer level information with which we can play around. So this is what I want, you people as a participant to engage in this. So again, guys, it was great talking to you all. Happy learning, and always remember, knowledge is power. Thank you.